Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is April Carter. I'm a team member with Tennessee Nonprofits Network, and I am so excited about the partnership we have with United Way of Greater Chattanooga and the event, the Nonprofit Talent and Culture Summit, coming up April 18th in Chattanooga. And I have the wonderful opportunity today to speak with our closing speaker, Miss Elle Benson. Now, Elle knows herself much better than I do, so she'll have an opportunity to introduce herself in just a moment. But I want you to get a pen and pad prepared so you can take notes and you can make a note to register for the Nonprofit and Talent Summit in Chattanooga on April the 18th while the early bird registration is still in effect. So, Elle, hello and welcome.
Hello, it is so good to see you. I'm just a fangirl of April and everyone at TNN. So anytime they have something going on, I try and connect and be part of it because it's going to be impactful.
Well, we are mutual fans, as you know, you were a part of our very first talent summit here in Memphis, and you're coming back to give us closing remarks in April for the Chattanooga summit. But first, Elle, tell us why we're a fan of Elle Benson. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your organization.
I think we share something in common, and it's about building nonprofit capacity. So I call myself a capacity builder because I believe wholeheartedly in building our workforce. So we have that in common. I founded the organization Nonprofit Leadership, an organization that helps nonprofits through their leadership and organizational change. I love what I do. And a side hustle that I have that has just turned into a core principle and value in all of my work is the science of happiness. And so I've published 2 books, working on my third, and identifying how we can translate the science of happiness into our nonprofit workforce has been my 2024 goal. So being able to connect my two loves of happiness and nonprofit capacity building, this is just a win-win.
Now, I love how you connected happiness to that because when we talk about talent and culture, we're not talking about the ability to dance or draw or anything like that. We are talking about the skills and the knowledge behind the people that are doing the work in the organization and the environment that's been created in order to do that work. And so we're talking about talent, skills, and culture and an environment. So happiness is a key part of that. And so tell us a little bit about your closing remarks. You'll come after our keynote speakers, some dynamic session speakers, and you will wrap all of that up with a beautiful bow with an underlying current of happiness. So tell us about your closing remarks.
Absolutely. We're calling it from overwhelm to overcoming, building resilience in the social sector. And when I think of the social sector, we have a lot of resilience. We build resiliencies in communities and our clients, but often we don't put the mirror on ourselves as the workforce. So, as the workforce, what can we do to build our mental stamina so that we can do the work with more impact and more desire? Because we joined the nonprofit sector with passion and with curiosity and energy. And let's be honest, post COVID and a lot of different things within our ecosphere, we've lost some of that tenacity. And the only way to get it back is to pour into ourselves. So I lean on research based and data, as all nonprofits should, and all the things that they do, research and data on how we can build our well being through the science of happiness. There is research on how we can do this, and I'll help walk our participants through the thoughts, the actions, and behaviors that are going to translate individually to them as the workforce and connect how's that going to impact their mission, because we know that well-being and happiness is contagious. So if we pour into ourselves as nonprofit staff, that's going to help our families, it's going to help our peers, it's going to help our clients, and it is going to change our communities. But it starts with understanding some of that data and where to start.
Fantastic. I love how you married the science and the data and the fact that you are encouraging us to pour into ourselves. Now, we know in the nonprofit sector, into ourselves, self-care can be a bit taboo. We're kind of transitioning back into the openness of that. But it's all about other people. You know, you have to give back. You have to pour into your community. So just kind of touch back on the importance of accepting and recognizing that we all need to have self-care and pouring back into ourselves. And it's not taking anything away from the community that we're serving.
It's not. And so this topic, some people are like, oh, I don't want happiness. Who's got time for that? Well, there's thought patterns and mindset. So however you want to phrase this, I enjoy the word happiness. You can call it well-being, you can call it mental stamina, but it starts with identifying positive thought habits. And so we'll go over some of thoughts that serve you well, which serve the work that you do, and translate that into how can we create some behaviors and actions based on those thought patterns, but truly developing a gratitude mindset, creating more positive language in how we speak to ourselves and others, and humor. We know in the nonprofit sector, humor can go a long way. It can rewire our brain to more positive thinking. So, how can we cultivate that? How can we spend then our time more wisely, giving back to others? And the most important thing, and science will always go back to, how are we investing in our relationships? Those around us support our mental health in more ways than anything else. And so I'll really connect them home with why it's important to text those that you love and connect and tell them how much you care about them.
Elle, I can't think of a more incredible way to close out our Nonprofit Talent and Culture Summit and have such a positive call to action after the whole day has been wrapped up. And so, Elle, we, happiness, science, research, talent, culture, all of this we can expect from your session. But if we had to narrow it down to about 3 words to describe your facilitation style, what to expect from your session, what would be those 3 words? 2 or 3 words.
Okay, you know me, April. It's no surprise. Energy. I'm going to come and bring my energy because I'm passionate about this work and I'm passionate about our workforce. I think I'm going to bring some humor because we have to stay lighthearted. And our group really resonates with a good joke about our nonprofit sector. We know it too well. And then takeaways. As a nonprofit capacity builder, it is useless if we don't know next steps and what our measurables are. So I'm going to give you takeaways and I'm going to give you homework.
That is fantastic. Now for our closing section, our closing question. So, talent, culture. There are 4 things that can really bring together a healthy and thriving culture and talent within a nonprofit sector or within any kind of work capacity. So if you had to choose to build culture around one of these things, which one would it be? Really good food, a good binge-worthy TV series that you can have conversations around, good music, or a really good book.
Mm. Okay, because I'm leaning into the science of happiness, and the science of happiness shares those that are sensory experiences bode well, and those that connect with others. So I'm going to have to go with food because we have the taste aspect of sensory, and we share and unite with others. And so of those activities, it was most social and most sensory. So that's what I'm going with.
That is a fantastic answer. I love that you have science and common sense behind your response. So, if you want to join us and Elle at the Nonprofit Talent and Culture Summit in April, be sure to register. Early bird registration goes for about another 2 weeks, so you have time. So, be sure to register. Go to www.tnnonprofits.org to register, and be sure to go to our website and our partner, United Way of Greater Chattanooga, to learn more about our services and what to expect. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the next session.